Good afternoon, everybody, and apologies that I was running late. I had a lost access card I was tracking down. It is Thursday, May 14th, 2026. I'm going to call to order today's work session meeting, and may I have a motion to approve our minutes from the April 9th, 2026 work session? And if we can have a second, and if there are no corrections or discussion, everybody please vote. All right, the minutes have been approved, and I'm going to turn the meeting now over to our interim general manager and CEO, Jonathan Hunt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a few remarks today, and the team will be bringing some important presentations before the board today. First, I want to thank MARTA staff for the way they've shown up these past few months in our run-up to the launch of our Big Six projects. In recognition of the extraordinary work our staff have contributed during the most transformative period in our recent history, the MARTA leadership team has planned a bit of surprise and delight for our employees to show our appreciation and to lean into the excitement of the upcoming FIFA World Cup. We are hosting 2 MARTA employee pep rallies this week. One is occurring right now. Today, employees can enjoy great food and fellowship with colleagues at each of our bus garages and rail yards at Laredo, Perry, Hamilton, Armour, Avondale, and South Yard. And to all the hardworking employees at our facilities, I am sorry that I am not with you to celebrate right now. Obviously, we're working a little bit here. Tomorrow, employees are invited to enjoy food trucks, games, a photo booth, and music and entertainment outside of headquarters, right in the back here, as well as at the 2 Lindbergh soccer pitches near the Kiss and Ride area. In addition, we've reserved the Lindbergh soccer pitch to invite everyone to play pickup games. This is our way of saying thank you to the thousands of employees for everything they do each day to support MARTA, our patrons, and for keeping the region moving. Additionally, we have commissioned World Cup pins for, oh my goodness, look at me violating our own rules. I am sorry. Additionally, we have commissioned World Cup pins for employees and the board to say thank you. Our transit ambassadors will also wear them when assisting our patrons on the system. You'll see the image in the World Cup report later. Board members, you'll have the pins in front of you at present. I want to turn to our stakeholder engagement now. Our external affairs team has been extremely busy engaging in and plugging me into a number of public engagement and media events to help continue amplifying the narrative that MARTA is in the season of delivering our projects. If the IT team could pull up the engagement slide for everybody and our folks online. The engagements, as you can tell, are too numerous for me to cite them all. But I will highlight the fact that the events noted on screen are only a small sampling of all the public outreach that we have been engaged in. As you can see, the public engagement pace has stepped up dramatically since the beginning of the year and will continue as our customers get accustomed to our new services and our initiatives. Speaking of public engagement, on Monday, May 18th, we are celebrating the grand opening of the Indian Creek Station pedestrian bridge with a ribbon cutting from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. in DeKalb County. Board members, you all received a calendar invite for this event previously, and we are looking forward to being joined by DeKalb County Commissioner Marita Davis-Johnson for a short program. Also note, this is National Police Week, so do please take a moment to thank a law enforcement officer for their work in keeping our community safe. So Chief Creer and MPD, we always thank you, but thank you. I want to take a moment and turn to one item that has been reported in the news regarding the distribution of our reduced fare cards. And the IT team, you can take down the slide at this point. Thanks, folks. Our reduced fare card distribution. On May 2nd, we cut over on our Better Breeze launch from the existing old gray Better Breeze card to the new orange Better Breeze card. The old card no longer works on our system as of May 2nd. With that cutover, we have a large reduced fare population. 47,000 individuals in our system when we did the cutover. We mailed out 38,000 pieces of mail and stopped mailing on April 28th. We stopped mailing so we could limit the amount of issues with cards being caught in mail or in transit, and we encouraged folks who had not received their cards to come by at their leisure to MARTA headquarters, where our customer service staff would be able to service them. In the mail, we received approximately 4,500 pieces of mail, reduced fare cards that didn't go to the appropriate address or the people have moved, and we're still researching that. Marketing and messaging was great with respect to the cutover and our dates on May 2nd. So much so that over the coming days, 10 to 15% of the individuals who came into headquarters for a reduced fare card were new MARTA customers or existing reduced fare customers whose reduced fare cards had expired. Our reduced fare cards need to be renewed every 3 years. So through our messaging and outreach and public engagement, they said, oh, our new fare cards are no longer valid. We need to come in for a new one. We averaged walk-ins jumped over 250% during this period, and calls more than doubled during this period. But we need to lead in with, we were too long. On the Saturday, May 2nd, and the subsequent Monday, we had wait times that did average about 2 hours, which is too long, and for that, we apologize. We did on Monday evening, the leadership team got together. We had an extensive meeting, about 2.5 hours, where we went through every aspect of the process. We added additional outside resources. We adjusted the process and segregated out people who just needed to pick up their card and go versus new applicants or existing cards that needed to be re-registered. We also pulled in all of our transit ambassadors, had been working tirelessly, all to help service our customers. Our head of customer service, Donna DeJesus, took on the initiative to extend our customer service hours without reaching out to leadership, and she should be commended to do for doing so, and I thank you. And we were able to reduce wait times from that 2.5 hour period down to our 20 to 30 minute period, which is what we expected. At present, we are servicing right about 300 individuals per day getting new reduced fare cards. But although Saturday and Monday did take too long, the wait times were too long, I am happy to say that anybody who came up and did wait did receive their reduced fare card on those days. Nobody was turned away. But with that, we've greatly improved, and as many as you saw as you came up to the boardroom today, our lines are much, much shorter and have been so ever since about noon on Tuesday. Mobility. You've heard that mobility customers have been waiting for their cards as well. Well, those are, inside of MARTA, treated as two different groups. With our mobility patrons, all of those patrons have been serviced, have their cards, are able to make their regular scheduled trips. We do have about 91 individuals that there's some address issues, but our customer service staff are reaching out to those 91 individuals personally in order to make sure that they have their cards and they're still able to schedule trips. We will be bringing today additional funds to support customer service. Our customer service team has been servicing all of our launches. So they take care of lost and found, reduced fare cards, customer complaints and celebrations, lost individuals in our system. They also take care of all of our initiatives. So as we launched MARTA Reach on March 7th, and we've been layering all of our launches for all of the big 6 projects, the weight of those projects have been bearing down on that group. So our leadership team has decided to come to you to ask for additional resources because of World Cup, as well as the launch of our new rail cars coming up to get us through the end of July. But you'll see that and have a full report on that later in the board meeting. I'm going to shift now to our monthly significant initiatives update. And there's just a few brief updates in this area because our team is going to go into a more extensive presentation on World Cup, which also identifies some of the significant initiatives. With respect to our CQ400 rail car, we've entered into the phase of in-revenue service testing which just means we're testing the train during our revenue service hours with the existing fleet so that the public will be seeing the trains a bit more. You'll be seeing pictures and videos and snapshots of it more readily on social media. As you're aware, we are having our first ride event with our loyal riders and employees, as well as elected officials, community stakeholders, and our board members on June 4th. You should have received the save the date, and this week you'll receive an email with all the details from our external affairs group. The ride will begin at Avondale Station and stop at Georgia State. This route mimics the first ride on the system when the line was first completed, and after the event, the train will be going into revenue service. The plan is still to have 5 to 7 trains in revenue service during World Cup. I want to give kudos to MARTA and the Stadler teams for their coordinated efforts getting us to this point. Now on to the final push in order to deliver the CQ400 ahead of World Cup. With respect to the 5 Points transformation, on April 30th, our board members and members of the C team inspected the progress of both the 5 Points transformation and the station rehabilitation projects. Director Kelly Davis from our capital team and the balance of the MARTA team, as well as Skanska, showed us the magnitude of the work required to dismantle such a large structure and describe the remaining work. As a reminder, Forsyth Street entrance remains open for patrons to use 5 Points. Key work elements that have been completed or will be ongoing. We've already removed nearly 1 million tons of concrete, and there are over 800,000 pounds of steel installed on site to support this structure that has to be removed. The first pick removing the steel was completed on March 26th of this year, and our tower crane was erected on April 4th and will be on site until deconstruction is completed later on in late summer of 2027. The solar sign, which is that large circular sign drum located in the center of the canopy that was suspended, was successfully removed on April 24th of this year as well. It remains a key milestone because that was not only aesthetically pleasing, that suspended sign, but it was also operating as a keystone element helping support the superstructure. So that was a very, very key moment for that project. With respect to our next-gen bus network and reach, as you know, we launched our next-gen bus network during the April 18th weekend event, and just wanted to share a few stats with the board and with our patrons. There are 315 buses operating across our 81 routes now. We've tripled the number of routes with headways of 15 minutes or better, and a third of our bus routes with headways of 15 minutes or better. We had over 900 transit ambassadors out in the system every day supporting our amazing operators, station agents, and team from the very start of service to the very end of service every single day. Our customer service team fielded on average 3 times as many calls during this period, especially during the first 3 days of the launch. And for the first 3 days of the launch, the next-gen rollout, we delivered nearly 15,000 bus trips that carried approximately 250,000 customers. And in the first week, the next gen delivered over 1 million bus trips that carried nearly 700,000 passengers. And from the moment the next gen bus rollout, we have begun evaluating performance of the network in 3 areas around data, customer experience, and operations. And we will continue this monitoring along with our service performance into the future. Our goal is to see the bus ridership increase. And we expect this to take approximately 6 to 12 months to evaluate, understand, and normalize those routes. As existing customers learn the new network and know how to get to new places and understand the interchanges. The same weekend that we debuted Next Gen, we also rolled out the soft launch of Georgia's first BRT line, the Rapid A line. I want to thank the City of Atlanta, CEO Burks, and Commissioner Cavanis, who were instrumental in clearing a path to ensure the rollout was a success. The response to the Rapid A line has been great, and we have been asked, why was it a soft opening? First, this is a key access corridor part for Next Gen redesign that had to be in place for Summerhill and Peoplestown so that individuals in those neighborhoods can still access the balance of the system. Also, the project is taking place in a construction-rich environment, which includes substantial construction projects by SODO, or South Downtown Group, Centennial Yards, the City of Atlanta, GDOT, GSU, and others have major construction projects that are literally on top of and adjacent to our Rapid A line. but we did do the soft launch. We are servicing every single stop, and we do plan on completing that work in early fall. With respect to MARTA's REACH service, during the first week across all zones between March 7th and 14th, we saw 234 trips and we carried 273 passengers. So not that many. Since the launch of NextGen on April 18th, the average daily REACH ridership is now 873 passengers, a substantial increase. And as a reminder, REACH is MARTA's on-demand service. The key word there is on demand. So you may see one of our vehicles sitting in one of our designated queuing areas. They aren't goofing off. They are waiting on a call to provide a ride in their zone on demand. Our operators want to provide these rides. So as we've recommended before, I invite all of you to visit a REACH zone, give the REACH service a try. You can download the app from our website at itsmarta.com/reach. You can reserve a ride through the website or call our reservations office, but do give MARTA REACH a try. Finally, the chairs of the World Cup planning subcommittees will come up now and provide you with a FIFA World Cup planning update. I didn't provide an update on Better Breeze with our major initiatives, but you will hear an update on Better Breeze embedded in our World Cup presentation from AGM Nevin Grinnell as part of the overall presentation. And with that, I think I'm going to invite Mr. Gordon, our World Cup lead, to the microphone, and he is going to serve as MC for all of the subcommittee heads. Mr. Gordon?
Absolutely. Good day, Chair Ide, Mr. Hunt, Ms. Allen, and members of the board. I'm John Gordon, Director of Customer Engagement. We appreciate the opportunity to provide an update on MARTA's FIFA World Cup readiness efforts. Next slide, please. So we will give an overview of these updates here. Next slide. Next slide. The anticipation is reaching its peak as we stand just 28 days from the inaugural Fan Festival activation at Centennial Olympic Park. With only 32 days until the world's attention lands on Atlanta Stadium, better known as Mercedes-Benz Stadium, for the first Atlanta match. I want to remind everyone we are also 51 days from the annual Northside Hospital Peachtree Road Race. Next slide, please. For the match days, we are prepared to move up to 68.5 thousand attendees to and from the stadium, with a massive 18-day stretch at Centennial Olympic Park, with a daily influx of roughly 30,000 fans at the fan festivals. The entire metro area is relying on us. We are supporting 16 days of up to 15,000 fans at State Farm Arena and a 20-day regional surge in Decatur. I know it might feel like the global event is only focused on the World Cup, but we are ready for the 60,000 participants for the Peachtree Road Race. We have left nothing to chance. MARTA has undergone a rigorous schedule of internal and external tabletop drills and live exercises to ensure we are not just prepared, but battle hardened for this historical event. A representative from each internal subcommittee will now deliver a detailed briefing on our execution plans, beginning with Mr. Jorge Bernard, Deputy Chief of Rail Operations.
Thank you, John. First, let me start talking to you a little bit more about the rail service that we plan to run during the World Cup. Rail operations will run a schedule that we specially created. It's going to be a 5-minute headway on the days of the match days, as well as on those fanfare days. What that means for rail service means that we are going to be starting service early in the morning, and we're going to start with a 5-minute headway where we typically have a peak service, then we go to an off-peak and then back to peak service again. We're going to have that peak service continuous all the way from the start of revenue service until 10 p.m., and then we'll reduce our schedule after that. There will be some days where we have events that are going to go past the 10 p.m. mark, and we'll be prepared to insert additional service to assist those customers get home at the end of those events. That schedule would run whether it's going to be a weekday or weekend service, depending on which day those events fall on. In addition, bus service, their schedule would not change. However, they will be prepared. They will be playing an integral part in supporting those events by providing additional buses that will be staged throughout our system, particularly at 5 locations that we have identified that would be critical for us in the event that we have any rail service interruption, that we can implement quickly a bus bridge if the need arises. Those stations would involve such as the Vine City Station, SEC District. It would also involve Lindbergh, Civic Center, and Inman Park. East Lake, so that we can prepare to move those customers on whether there's any interruption on the west side of town, east side of town, north side of town, or the south side of town. In addition, mobility service will be assisting by providing temporary ADA eligibility for those customers that may be coming from out of town that may need that service. Mobility service will also be providing additional buses that will be used for the event of any disruption, that we can quickly move those customers needing assistance, and we will stage those buses at Vine City as well. Streetcar and rapid A-line service, those schedules will remain the same throughout the events. However, we will be monitoring very closely, particularly the streetcar service, as it's service in those areas close to the Centennial Olympic Park, where there may be a lot of activities going on, and some of that foot traffic may affect our service. And we will be prepared to make changes as necessary in the event that any foot traffic would provide any hiccups or any interference with our train service there. Other operational services, we also partner up. They're not our support service, they're actually our partners in this system. So individuals such as our track maintenance personnel, automatic train control, electrical power and equipment personnel, they will be staged strategically throughout our system to assist in case we have any disruptions on any other service. We will have those individuals located at near our power substations and at different key interlockings so that they can assist with us for any malfunctions with our track system that may affect our rail service as well. In addition, we will also have rail car maintenance personnel that would be embedded with us throughout the system, that they can also help assist the operators in troubleshooting any malfunctions with the trains during the events as well. In this slide, you can see a graphic depicting what the frequency is going to look like. So this is a snapshot of our service when we're running the 5-minute frequency. As you can see indicated by the different arrows and the different colors, that signifies a train for that particular line. For example, the red arrows are indicative of the red line trains. So that is the North Springs to airport service. The gold lines and the gold arrows, that is the Doraville to airport service. The blue line is Indian Creek to H.E. Holmes. And the green line would shuttle basically from Bankhead to Ashby. That way we can expand our trains from Indian Creek all the way to H.E. Holmes and provide more service and more points of contact for those customers to be able to travel throughout the system. The biggest increase on this schedule is going to be the blue line, where we are basically substituting what most of our green lines trains that we currently run into blue line trains, so that expands the service quite drastically on the east-west line as well. And coincidentally, we are running this schedule today. So this is a good test that we're doing today for our World Cup. We intend to do another test at a different date, just to make sure that we don't have to tweak anything between now and the World Cup. We will continue to do different scenarios that we would try to run, not only for the schedule itself, but for our staff that is assisting in providing the planning and the coordination behind the scenes. And some of those things include like using our train control system, basically our operations center, moving to the backup center to ensure that all that equipment is functioning properly in the event that we have to make that switch during any of the events. And at this point, I'd like to introduce to you Gina Major, Deputy Chief of Safety and Quality Assurance.
Good morning. So beginning with our safety readiness efforts for the World Cup, we are deploying public health tables at 6 of our highest traffic stations. Those are 5 Points, SEC District, Vine City, Peachtree Center, Garnett, and Lindbergh. These tables will be stocked with essential public health and first aid supplies, including items like hand sanitizer, gloves, basic wound care, cold packs, bottled water, and protective masks. We will also have AED units and naloxone or Narcan ready at the tables, and staff assigned to these locations have already been trained in the proper administration of Narcan. In addition to providing medical support, these tables will serve as touchdown points for our contracted emergency medical personnel, and they are also designated family reunification points, which I'll speak more on in the next slide. Our safety staff, approximately 80 personnel, have completed readiness training, including both station and train evacuations. During the World Cup period, their responsibilities will include continuous safety risk management with a focus on hazard identification and mitigations across the system. We have also addressed all findings from the state fire safety inspection that took place in March. The state has already conducted 3 re-inspections, with the final re-inspection taking place today. And all previously identified items from their re-inspections have been closed. And finally, we're partnered with marketing to develop safety signage that reinforces escalator metering, elevator usage, and platform safety guidance to help ensure safe rider behavior throughout the system. So shown here is the safety signage that's been developed by our marketing team based on the safety topics and requirements we provided. Beyond escalator metering, the signage addresses several other key safety behaviors. It includes guidance on children on escalators, the use of elevators for bicycles and strollers, boarding etiquette, platform safety, and reminders regarding prohibited items such as fireworks and alcohol. These messages will appear in 3 formats. They will be inside our rail cars, as large format signs in our stations where we have unsold inventory, and in rotation on the digital screens across all stations. And this will be what we refer to as evergreen signage. It'll be there after the World Cup as well. And then I also want to highlight on the right side a draft. This is a draft reunification symbol, but we will have reunification symbols that mark the meeting points for families near our public health tables. This type of symbol aligns with standardized iconography, if I say that right, iconography that's being used throughout the World Cup messaging across the country, and making it instantly recognizable for international visitors and helping to bridge language barriers. These designating meeting points also play an important role in reducing the risk of human trafficking by providing clear, safe locations for reconnection and by making it easier for staff to identify situations where someone may be vulnerable. Our crowd control measures for the World Cup are designed to prevent crowding, maintain safe, steady passenger flow, and reinforce escalator safety during peak periods. One of the most visible changes will be queuing crowds before patrons reach the platform. So to support this, we will be using retractable belt barrier stanchions, the same type that you would see in airport security lines. And by directing riders into organized lines earlier in the station, we reduce pressure at the platform and maintain orderly assembly before riders board the escalators. This queuing layout also separates customers who need to use the TVM machines for fare purchases from those who are already fare ready and ready to get on the train. This will prevent bottlenecks and keep the main lines moving smoothly. Now, at the escalators themselves, the bollards we installed create a single file entry point. This reinforces the safety standard of one customer per step and again helps prevent crowding at the landings. All of these crowd control components will be fully completed and in place by next week ahead of the World Cup activation. So together, these measures, again, are public health preparedness, customer-focused safety messaging, and planned crowd control measures contribute to our overall safety readiness for World Cup. With that, I will turn it over to Chief Scott Crayer for our security updates. Chief?
All right, let's get busy. April 25th, we finished our last full-scale exercise internally with MARTA Police. We did that over at the West End. May 19th, which is next Tuesday, we have our tabletop exercise with the City of Atlanta in preparation for our Peachtree Road Race. May 21st is our last all-agency public safety meeting. We've been meeting with the City of Atlanta and all the partners involved in World Cup on a regular cadence for about the last year. They've really picked up, obviously, in the last 2 months, and our last one is May 21st. At this meeting, the City of Atlanta will give their full presentation on what they plan on doing for World Cup. May 29th, we have our City of Atlanta Public Safety tabletop exercise. This is the last one before the big event, so we'll be meeting together, and this is a last time opportunity for all the agencies to get together and practice preparations for World Cup. Internally here at MARTA, our operational period starts June 6th. June 6th. We're going to be going to a 6 days workday schedule, 1 day off, working 12-hour shifts, especially on match days, but in particular match days and some of the Fan Fest events that are going on. Included in this operational staff will be our contracted EMS support staff. They'll be assigned to our 5 major stations that are downtown in the downtown footprint. The outlying rail stations, we've entered into MOUs to cover police agency protections at those stations during match days. Those include Brookhaven, Dunwoody, the DeKalb County Police out in Kensington, places like that. We've also got MOUs in place for additional K-9, SWAT, EOD support when needed, if it is needed during the events. Our partner in Denver, the Denver Regional Transportation District, they have graciously offered to send and are sending 26 transit police officers to Atlanta in 3 different shifts. We have provided hotel stays for them, transportation and per diem, and a big thanks to them for coming to assist during World Cup. They're going to be very helpful. Our level 1 EOC activations, which is our big full-scale activation of the Emergency Operations Center, will be on match days only over at the IOC at the Shamley Station. Level 2, being a smaller condensed version of our EOC, will activate all other days during the World Cup events. That will be either at the Candler Park backup EOC or in our mobile command vehicle. Our mobile command vehicle, hopefully you've had an opportunity to visit and come inside, but it will be at various locations throughout the entire World Cup events. In particular, the first event that we'll be participating in is the big concert at the Decatur Station. I believe that's on the 12th. Am I right on the 12th? I think so, yeah. So MPD will have representation at the Atlanta Police Joint Operations Center, the World Congress Center's Emergency Operations Center, And then additional resources at the Joint Information Center, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and our GDOT Traffic Center. We're standing up with APD to assist them on the July 3rd fireworks display at Lenox Mall. We'll be supporting the adjacent precincts and stations at Buckhead and Lenox. And then July 4th, obviously, we'll be up and running for our annual Peachtree Road Race. The good news is there are no activities during the Peachtree Road Race associated with World Cup. So the officers will get a little bit of rest before they have to get back in it. We've got 60 fully trained MARTA police officers in civil unrest. These mobile civil unrest units will be available for any MARTA property that were needed, and also assisting the city of Atlanta if they need additional resources for civil unrest. And then next week's all agency meeting, we'll have a better understanding of the cadence of the city of Atlanta's incident command structure and when they're going to meet every day. I'll be the incident commander for police services representing MARTA in that meeting, and then Ms. Rhonda Allen is the incident commander for our internal IC structure here inside MARTA. So once we get those dates and times, we'll have our cadence in line with the city of Atlanta so we can communicate every day internally with what's going on externally. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Tyson Morris.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning. Once again, my name is Tyson Morris. I'm the AGM CIO of Technology, and I'm here to provide a brief update on several technology initiatives currently wrapping up across the authority. As you'll see with some of these projects, they will span multiple operational areas. They all support two of MARTA's core objectives: improving security and improving reliability across the MARTA system. Some of these initiatives are customer-facing, while others strengthen the underlying infrastructure that supports public safety, operations, and day-to-day service. And collectively, these better position MARTA's for future growth and also ensure our technology is modernized and ready for the FIFA World Cup. So let's start with cameras. As of yesterday, we've installed 247 of the 280 targeted cameras for replacement, putting the program at 88% complete overall. Cameras at most locations are now fully remediated, with the remaining work concentrated primarily on 5 points and airport stations, and these are scheduled to be completed this month. This effort improves the reliability of our video surveillance environment, includes 4K resolution, reduces maintenance issues and downtime associated with older equipment, and strengthens MARTA's ability to support public safety initiatives and with consistent camera coverage across the network. Building on the camera replacement effort, we are also modernizing the video software platform that supports these devices. This will drastically enhance MARTA's overall security and situational awareness capabilities. These upgrades are being deployed across several other high-traffic stations for the World Cup, including Airport, 5 Points, Lindbergh Center, and the downtown corridor. The new platform introduces advanced analytics and AI-driven capabilities, such as person of interest alerts, fare evasion, loitering, and trespassing detection, and even real-time attribute searches. The upgraded system will stream 848 camera feeds across 8 primary stations, providing significantly greater operational visibility to MARTA's real-time crime center, our mobile command unit, police officers in the field, as well as our operations teams. One of the most vocal customer complaints we've received over the years has been regarding our Avis passenger signs across our rail system. As you know, these signs provide real-time arrival information, service messaging, and operational alerts to customers. At the start of this effort, we had 117 units identified for replacement or remediation. Today, I'm happy to say this number has been reduced to just 2 remaining units, bringing the overall environment to more than 98% operational, and we plan to have the remaining signs completed very soon. In total, MARTA now has 323 operational signs deployed across the system, supported by additional inventory for rapid replacement if and when issues may occur. This significantly improves the reliability and consistency of customer information while reducing downtime and maintenance response time. Another area of improvement we've addressed is with our Wi-Fi and mobile cell coverage within our underground tunnels and stations. To address that, MARTA has been working through a targeted connectivity improvement initiative across several key underground stations all the way from Arts Center to Garnett Station. The results to date have been significant. Download speeds have increased by 323%, while upload speeds have improved by close to 1,900%. These improvements support a more reliable customer experience for passengers using mobile devices while underground. And from a security and operational perspective, improved connectivity also enhances communication capabilities for our frontline staff, public safety personnel, mobile operations, and connected systems that rely on stable wireless infrastructure throughout our system. In addition to our Wi-Fi signal improvements, we've accelerated our broader network modernization efforts to strengthen both the security and reliability of MARTA's communication infrastructure by installing new network switches. Many of the existing network switches supporting these stations were approaching end of life and no longer able to support the growing bandwidth and operational demands placed on the network. These upgrades replace aging equipment with modern, higher capacity infrastructure across 8 key stations, including Airport, 5 Points, Lindbergh, and the downtown corridor. From a reliability standpoint, this improves network stability, reduces outages and hardware failures, and increases overall performance for connected system throughout our stations. From a security perspective, the upgraded platform provides stronger access controls, improved network segmentation capabilities, and a more resilient foundation for systems such as CCTV, fare systems, and operational communications. And lastly, this slide is from a smaller initiative in scope, but an important one from an operational readiness perspective. You heard Chief Prayer talk about our EOC activations, which serves as MARTA's central coordination point during major events, severe weather events, and large-scale public events. We recently completed work to modernize this room with new and larger screens, updated the display software platform, and enabled other capabilities to better support real-time decision-making and interagency coordination. These improvements will strengthen MARTA's positions to better be prepared operationally as we get ready for the World Cup. And in closing, I appreciate your time and hope you've been able to see all the hard work that the technology department has put in over the past few months on just a few of the initiatives directly supporting safer stations, more reliable operations, better communications capabilities, and an improved customer experience. Collectively, these efforts are helping transform MARTA into a more connected, resilient, and technology-enabled transit system. Thank you, and now I'll turn the floor over to Matthew Pollack for updates on the MARTA's station rehabilitations. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Ide, Mr. Hunt, Ms. Allen, and members of the board. The infrastructure delivery team is nearing completion of our fast-tracked rehabilitation and upgrade projects across MARTA's prioritized rail stations. These efforts were planned and implemented to ensure the system is both operationally sound and visually prepared for the high-volume demands of the World Cup. Let's take a look at some of those good works. The airport station rehabilitation is nearly complete and includes the now open ride store and Better Breeze equipment shown on this slide. A new second elevator is being tested and will be available for our World Cup passengers. On the platform level, benches have been installed for our patrons, and a new supervisor's booth is installed for our staff. At 5 Points, our platform levels have been updated to be cleaner and brighter and include new seating. This platform level work has taken place while the concourse and exterior levels are under deconstruction for the 5 Points transformation project, and the station will remain fully accessible during the World Cup. The picture on the upper right shows a tiny sneak peek of the exterior mural That's going to be placed on the construction fencing around the 5 Points station perimeter shortly. The Peachtree Center station entrances have received a significant refresh for our World Cup visitors, highlighted by brightened walls and brightened lighting as shown on this slide. Mr. Hunt spoke earlier about our newest transit mode, Bus Rapid Transit, and we're very proud of our Rapid A line, which is available for passenger use while we put the finishing touches on the entire project. The renaming of the SEC District Station was completed earlier this year and is fully integrated with our maps, signage, and announcements. At Vine City, the exterior has received a refresh with new sidewalks, a painted station roof, and updated landscaping. The concourse level will receive a heavy cleaning, and the interior lighting is being upgraded before commencement of the World Cup activities. At Garnett Station, the interior flooring has been fully upgraded, and our contractor is in the process of updating the platform level with powder-coated metal windscreens that are visually interesting and easier to clean and maintain, and shown on this slide. In addition, our station phones are being upgraded at 5 Points, Peachtree Center, Vine City, and SEC District with new digital units that are easier to maintain and vandal resistant. Regarding MARTA's enhanced event wayfinding effort, we are in the final stages of the MARTA approval and manufacturing process, ensuring our temporary wayfinding across 17 key stations meets the highest standards for the global stage. Our timeline is set for maximum impact, with installations rolling out beginning this week to ensure we are fully prepared before the first guests arrive. And with that, I will pass the presentation over to Mr. Grinnell.
Good afternoon. My name is Nevin Grinnell, AGM of Customer Experience. And before we get into the presentation, I just want you all to think about some of the other cities that you all have visited, and inside the U.S., but also outside of the country. I've been to Hong Kong, Bangkok, Amsterdam, and I've ridden public transportation at each of those places. And I can assure you, I don't speak any of those languages, but I've been able to effortlessly ride through those particular systems. And I'm sure as you guys have traveled through and taken public transportation, you've had that same kind of experience. And so with Better Breeze, we want to make sure that we're delivering that same type of effortless experience as we go through. So I'm going to walk through some key pages that will have us ready for World Cup. And again, as you can see with our equipment, our ticket vending machines, and our gates, the first is our validators. We'll have our validators deployed across all of our rolling stock, so that includes approximately 1,200 units with our buses, our BRT, and our rapid ride units. We'll have our new validators active and ready to go. Our ticket vending machines will be deployed across all of our stations and ready in case individuals want to use cash or buy the orange card. But also our gates will be deployed at all of our key stations that we've identified for World Cup. And 80% of all of our stations will have be outfitted with our new Better Breeze gates. So again, customers will be able to use whatever method that they choose to use to access and go through our particular system, which gets into our payment options. And I was thinking about this, and matter of fact, I think our breadth of payment options exceeds even going into some of the restaurants or some of the other commerce areas. So our payment options include Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, Apple, but also Samsung Virtual Pay and Google Wallet, as well as Apple Virtual Pay. So we will be equipped by World Cup to accept all these forms of payments. But also in addition, if folks choose to use cash, they can go to their ticket vending machine and purchase their Orange Breeze card. In addition, some of the other tools, we're upgrading our website, but also our app. And we know that people want to have that information in their hands. So with our app, we're replacing our app. So our current MARTA On The Go app will be replaced, and we'll be upgrading our website. The new app will have the new live tracker. And so just like if you've seen with taking Uber, you'll be able to pull up the new live tracker and see the location of the rail cars as well as the buses on the particular app. Also, our trip planning and our alert functions will also be drastically improved as well. And we'll also include some of the regional, or all of our regional transit services, CobLink, Ride Gwinnett, and Express. And then our See and Say app, as well as the MARTA and Go app, will be combined into one. And I don't know if you all realize, but we have separate apps right now. So we have a See Say app, and we have the MARTA On The Go. So if you want to report something, you have to open up that particular app. But for World Cup, that will be just in one app, making it a lot easier for our customers to engage with MARTA. And then also we'll include language support, increase our language support to 9 languages on both our app and our website going forward. And the support, we want to make sure, again, as folks are moving through our system, not just out of the country, but even those folks that are here in Atlanta, we want to make sure that we're providing that support through World Cup. So we'll have enhanced customer support operations. So we'll have eyes on our complete system. So if anything happens, we can respond effectively. We'll have station ambassadors. John has talked about our station ambassadors that will help guide our customers through, as well as help educate and drive awareness of all of the features. And then we'll also have an on-site maintenance plan. So with our vendor that's deploying our fare system, they will be at these key locations, especially during World Cup, to make sure that we can respond quickly to any situations that may happen. And then all in all, providing a visitor-friendly payment experience. So with that, I'll turn it over to John Gordon to finish up. Thank you.
All right, so I'll just speak about our Transit Ambassador program. We will be deploying each day around 339 transit ambassadors across 24 stations, a staggering 219% increase over our standard special events coverage. I would like to note on May 1st, the transit ambassador signups were distributed to our staff. Within 2 days, we reached about 71% capacity. Our ambassador force will include MARTA staff, 9 retirees, 100 FIFA Atlanta Sports Council volunteers, 11 COMTO volunteers, 5 WTS volunteers, 2 National Society of Black Engineers, and they're still coming in. I just want to let you know, more people are still coming in, so this is just a small, compact idea of what the volunteers are coming in. But we are leaving nothing to get to the gap in the 12-hour operational window, utilizing 3 4.5-hour shifts to mirror the intensity of the FIFA Fan Festival and match days. Our priority is a frictionless experience. Our ambassadors are tasked with expert wayfinding, public health, table support, and precision metering at plazas, concourses, and escalators to safeguard the customer journey. Every ambassador will be equipped with Google Translate, I Speak cards, and direct access to MARTA's translation service line. The standard for excellence is high. From June 5th to June 10th, every team member will undergo the Transit Ambassador Training Program of online and in-person sessions. We have built a dedicated home base for this mission, the Ambassador Support Center, which will be held and hosted in headquarters. It will serve as the hub for external staff check-ins, guidance, and real-time information. Now I will turn it over. Well, before I turn it over, these are the beautiful jerseys that the transit ambassadors will be wearing, along with the pin that they will be wearing as well. And with that, I will turn it over to Michelle Arrington, Assistant General Manager of External Affairs, to fill you in on marketing and communication plans.
Good afternoon. My name is Michelle Arrington. I serve as the Assistant General Manager of External Affairs and happy to share with you all some of our marketing and communications updates. In our first slide, as we continue to prepare for the world for FIFA World Cup, our focus is on ensuring visitors and residents see MARTA as the most easiest, most convenient, and most visible transportation option before they arrive in Atlanta and throughout their time in the city. The Welcome to Atlanta, Let MARTA Drive campaign is now in the execution phase with a coordinated mix of marketing, advertising, rider communications, and fan engagement efforts. Beginning next week, we will launch our digital billboard, mobile, and local, regional, and international marketing campaigns designed to build awareness and encourage trip planning ahead of the tournament. Our print advertising campaign also launched last month, including placements in Atlanta Magazine's World Cup Special Edition. Supporting these efforts is our dedicated World Cup landing page, which launched March 12th and serves as the central hub for our Know Before You Go information. It provides trip planning and rider resources. And then all campaign QR codes and marketing links will direct visitors there before they arrive here in Atlanta. At the same time, special Welcome to Atlanta announcements by Atlanta cultural icons will begin rolling out in early June to help visitors really navigate the system once they arrive. We're also expanding fan engagement throughout with merch pop-ups beginning June 11th and other branded activations throughout the system. And from a business perspective, as you can see, we've secured approximately $551,000 in World Cup related advertising revenue to date, with additional opportunities still in discussion. You all may have seen the less traffic, more soccer, Let MARTA Drive billboards up. I actually just had a friend call me about how great they looked. And next up for our communications, we will continue. It's centered around one message: Let MARTA Drive. The MARTA story is one of preparedness, emphasizing safety, cleanliness, and reliability, and highlighting the major projects underway that will improve service and the customer experience. We're also amplifying the affordability and convenience of taking MARTA from the airport to hotels, restaurants, and tourist attractions, and to matches and fan fest events. Included in our Let MARTA Drive messaging is important Know Before You Go information that hits on fare, how to pay, with amplification of the ease of tapping a bank card or a mobile wallet directly at fare gates and validators. Safety and security information includes the Ride with Respect messaging and wayfinding details for fans headed to matches, fan fest events, hotels, tourist attractions, and the airport. The MARTA app, website, trip planner, social media, and customer service information so fans can stay connected. We've also included in our Know Before You Go messaging on partner websites and brochures and visitor materials and interviews, and have featured it prominently on all MARTA social media pages. MARTA leadership and our spokespeople have done the following: participated in press conferences for local, national, and international news outlets held by the host committee, appeared on all local broadcasts and print news outlets, talking to prominent anchors, reporters, and hosts about our preparedness. We have written op-eds about the vital role that public transit plays in attracting large events, such as the World Cup, and safely and efficiently moving crowds. We've interviewed on partner podcasts and featured in stakeholder blogs and newsletters. We presented our World Cup plan to civic groups, our jurisdictional partners, and neighborhood associations. And we continue to provide content for sponsored appearances and social media influencers. We've given interviews and provided content and information to both national and international news outlets covering the host cities. Our message of Let MARTA Drive and safe, clean, and reliable transit will continue to be shared in the next few weeks leading up to the games, during the World Cup, and immediately after, when we are able to communicate our wins and celebrate a truly successful event. Thank you, and happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, I do have questions for different people, but Michelle, while you're up there, where are those fabulous billboards? Because as I'm sitting here listening to all of the great things that are happening, and I know we push it out through social media and earned media and all of that, but where are the billboards? Because that is great to.
That's a great question I do not have the answer to. but I will find out for you. Just give me a
They
second. I'll
launched
find out.
518. But
Okay.
We'll get the board the exact location.
Yeah, the
Okay.
exact locations.
That's great that we are telling the world that we're in good shape. This is so fantastic to hear that, one, we're ready for FIFA, but more than that, all of the wonderful things, improvements to the system that are going to be with us past FIFA is really what I'm most excited about in hearing all of this. You know, and all falling within our safe, clean, and reliable North Stars that we have had. I'll say, back when Jeff Parker was the man in charge and I was on Atlanta City Council, I said to him, you know, to get young people riding, I have 4 teenagers and 20-somethings. You know, you got to be able to pay by your phone. You got to have reliable Wi-Fi. The system's got to feel safe. You have to have wayfinding that works so that you know how to get there, and it has to be within an acceptable time frame when you're comparing it with driving your car or taking Uber. And man, if we're not getting there on all of those things. So I do just think this is a seminal point in MARTA's history that I hope that we have people who have never tried MARTA try it. We have people who have tried it and it wasn't, you know, didn't measure up to their standards. We have people new to Atlanta, but, you know, I think the team across the entire MARTA family has done an exceptional job in getting us to the point that this really is a transformational time in MARTA's history, and I can't wait to see those ridership numbers, you know, keep on going up and up and up. On capital stuff, a lot of us here were able to go see 5 Points, and it is so clean and bright and light and safe feeling. I know it still feels a little bit like a construction zone, but I can't wait to get in there when the construction stuff is gone or covered up with the beautiful murals, because, you know, we could, even with our hard hats and our vests poking around, you could tell that it's really going to be light and bright and safe and welcoming. A couple of other... One thing that I keep wondering, and I know this is probably a little bit more of a City of Atlanta airport issue, but it is a MARTA issue also, is can somebody tell me how our international visitors are going to easily be able to enjoy MARTA and know how to do that?
So we'll have signage. We do advertise within the airport to direct people over. On the international visitors, I believe it's still a shuttle that
Okay.
carries people around, and that's a TSA
Yeah,
kind of issue.
and I mean, I am assuming that the airport realizes
100%.
that is the most, that is the best way to get our visitors coming through Hartsfield-Jackson International Concourse into the city is on MARTA. So will they have ambassadors and additional signage and people helping people out? Okay.
Yes, they have a similar program with volunteers and having ambassadors that will meet folks at the baggage claim area and over into us, and as well as on the international side. And if you travel, also I've traveled recently, and they've actually, in some cases, moved some of the international flights into the domestic side and allowed them
Okay.
to come in on the domestic side to make things easier. So they may be making adjustments there as well, depending on the highest travel days and where folks are coming from.
Okay. And on the flip side, when people are heading back to the airport and they get off at the airport, I mean, I assume they should get off at the airport station, and
Yes.
then
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
and then there will be people, signs,
There's
everything
a handoff
pointing
from
you
MARTA
to the.
to the airport staff at that point as well.
Okay. That's a question I keep getting from people of how do we make that smoother, and it sounds like just manpower is part of pointing people in the right direction. I think that was my questions on 5 Points. I mean, on FIFA-related stuff. Ms. Jones.
Quick question for Mr. Bernard. What were the stations that will be staging the rapid response fleet?
That's going to be, I'm sorry, you hear me there? Okay. That's going to be at Vine City, SEC District, Civic Center, Lindbergh, West End, and Eastlake.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. Mr. Frierson?
Yeah, thank you. A lot of moving parts, a lot going on. We're grateful for that. And I want to say thank you personally to the ambassadors who are working in the forefront of dealing with the customers as we make this transition. You know, all I have to do is just sit back and watch how people behave and how they act and interact. And I'm so proud of how they're dealing with and being patient with our riders, because a lot of people are trying to understand this new system, and you can see it, and they're really working with them. So I want to say thank you to the ambassadors. My question has to go to Nevin. You mentioned the validators. I didn't know, are they going to be up and running on the buses, or that's still something that's still in transition?
No, the validators will be up and running on the buses.
Okay.
And so don't want to confuse those with the new fare boxes. We will be deploying new fare boxes after World Cup, but the validators will all be up and running.
Okay, so when I go to the bus, I see there's 3 different units sometimes on the buses. I'm trying to figure out which one I should be using.
Yeah, so just for the board, so there are 3 different units that you're
Okay.
seeing right now. So there's the fare box, the current fare box, and it will still take your money if you choose to use cash. We have a yellow validator, which is the older validator.
Okay.
So we turn that off. And then we have the orange validator that aligns with the orange breeze card. And so that's the one to use if you're going to, tap your board card.
Okay, and that's active now?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering. All right, great.
All right.
Thank you. I think
Yep.
that's helpful. All right, thank you.
All right, Mr. Hudson?
Thank you. Mr. Gardner and your team, you guys have done a fantastic job. My question will be first for Mr. Bernard. Actually, in providing the 5-minute headways and the resources it costs to do that, do we have the capability of scaling that back if the traffic isn't warranting that throughout FIFA?
Scaling back is always the easiest.
Okay. I just wanted to be certain. I know we're testing it now.
Yes.
And I guess all the information I hear about the crowds, it's mixed in terms of what the volume may be. I just want to know if we're able to capable of scaling that back. My second question is for Captain Kutcher. We're going to the 12-hour sessions for our men. Is that typical in terms of being able to give them enough rest? I know we're working 6 days, 12-hour shifts. Is that enough to provide them the rest that they need so they're fresh to go
Absolutely.
back on the seat?
Yes.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Pond?
I think when you hear this, it's just incredible that the amount of planning that goes into something like this. It's just so many moving parts. I really appreciate the fact that you certainly plan, but also you plan for when things don't go well. So things such as the ambassador program or the rapid response teams of putting mechanics or maintenance folks all across the system, I think is real critical, because you certainly plan for the worst and hope for the best in these kinds of events. The more frequent service, I think you launched it, can I say? Is it not a secret?
It's not a secret.
I flew into the airport this morning at 7:30, and the trains are running every 5 minutes. And so I walked up and missed the train. I thought, daggone it. And sat down. 5 minutes later, the train took off, and I think that was part of the planning to have more frequent service for the events coming up. But I do have one question for Mr. Tyson, Mr. Morris, on technology. Heard a lot about backup for people and maintenance and this and that and the other, but we have some very complicated technology systems, cybersecurity, the train control systems. What do we have in place for backup with vendors and staff when you have technology glitches? I didn't hear much there.
No, it's a great question. And that is one of our work streams. We've been working behind the scenes. Disaster recovery and cyber resilience are ongoing efforts. So we are in the middle of our cloud migration. We've migrated a lot of our Tier 1 applications to the cloud, which will give us a lot more stability in case anything happens to our data center. I'm not going to go too deep into the cyber exercises and measures we put in place. If that's okay, we can talk offline. But we have been conducting, we just had our 4th tabletop exercise on top of the other tabletop exercises. I know it's tabletop season, really preparing for any event. We finished our incident response plan that we've circulated and gone through a couple different drills. So, you know, like being a Boy Scout, right? Always be prepared, plan for the worst. We've got new tools, new technologies. Lawrence Williams has set up a security operating center. On my side, I've got a network operating center. Both provide 24/7 coverage of our infrastructure. So I feel like, you know, we've done about as good as we can to try to prepare for this. Did I answer your question? Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Pond, normally our CISO, Mr. Williams, would be here, but he is currently, he serves in reserve capacity with the Army, so he's currently on his service duty. We can bring to the board during the committee meetings an executive session, a cyber update if they would like.
No, I think he answered it fine, so.
Ms. Pollock?
Thanks. Y'all have been busy, and and it's great. We appreciate it. This question, I don't know, touches so many of you, but that just presented. But broadly, I'm curious about the integration of the See Something, Say Something app with the MARTA on the Go app, and sort of how how it will change for the customer when, I'll say, like, when I use the See Something, Say Something, there's a lot of options, right? Is that part of it? And then part 1B of my question is sort of like, how are we advertising that as what should be used? And then 1C is sort of like, what type of response time would we expect if you were to get a complaint in the See Something, Say Something?
Okay.
That was a really long question. I'm very sorry.
I'll try to answer a few. I'll provide the answers that I can. First, I just want to say for the group, we have 3 different apps right now. And so our vision, and I think I've presented this, but our vision is to get to one app. Customers for any brand don't want multiple apps. And so we're looking to bring all of that together to make it easy. So first and foremost. So the first integration is going to be the MARTA on the Go app and the CSA app. And so within the CSA app, it's clearly identified as an opportunity for them to report any issues and things of that nature. Now I'm starting to forget a few of the questions that you
didn't ask a 4-part question.
I have some. David's in the back of the room. We are going to give a presentation on this next month on the app, so we can give you more detail on that. But launch later this month, David, and I think we have it in the App Store. Or we've submitted for into the App Stores for submission for activation. You want to give us a brief update on that, and then we'll have our real briefing next month.
Oh yeah, quick update and good afternoon everyone. I'm David Emery, Senior Director of Customer Technology. So we are planning to launch this new combined MARTA on the Go app with the MARTA on the Go replacement app at the end of the month. If you already have MARTA on the Go installed, it will just replace it in the phone, so it's not a separate download, but it will bring in the See and Say functions into this app. So it should be a more seamless experience for our customers. To answer a couple of your questions, in terms of how we're letting people know, I mean, if they're current MARTA on the Go users, they should see the new reporting function in the app. If they're using what will become the old CSA app, there will be a notification in that app that, starting now, you should start using the main MARTA app to do reporting. Now, the existing CSA will continue to operate and be monitored for some period of time, I think through World Cup. So there'll be some overlap between the two, but I think by the end of the summer, we're hoping to get everyone onto the new CSA app. In terms of, by new CSA app, I mean the new MARTA app, since we're moving in this direction of like a single app. In terms of the user interface, it will be, it should be a little more streamlined, because that is one of the responses we get a lot, is that there's just so many fields that you have to type in. There still will be the choice of different incident types. I think that's something that people are used to, and we'll have more control over that going forward. So since this is being developed more to MARTA specifications, whereas the existing CSA is just kind of an off-the-shelf product. So we will have more flexibility around that going forward. There will be fewer requirements about having to put it in your contact information. That'll be optional. So there'll be more kind of better support for anonymous reporting. You can include your contact information if you want. So I think we have heard the feedback about the limitations of the current app, both from our external customers and from internal stakeholders like MPD. So we're trying to address both of those with this new app. But there will be a transition as people get used to the new app. But bottom line, we will have more control going forward. If there is feedback, we can respond to that more easily.
That's great. Is there, I'm trying to remember if I've seen it. I know I've seen it on the trains, signage in the station that says like, see something, say something, because I will like, okay,
Yeah, there is.
I'll say today, like
Yes.
there was an incident and I was trying to, everyone's looking around for police. And so trying to use your phone and do it. And I guess that's what led to my question about like the expected response time from MPD if they get an alert.
Hopefully the response time will be better with this new platform, because I know that was a complaint about the previous app I heard internally, was that it wasn't always instantaneous getting reports back and forth, but this will be a more technologically advanced platform for that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's a multi-layered approach on that response time. Chair Ide was saying the cameras, that's one, and those improvements. 2, Wi-Fi improvements. 3, moving towards what I like to call the MARTA Everything app is an additional layer. 4 is additional staffing, which we're doing with MPD with a new set of our largest class in the last 15, 20 years, graduating from Fulton Academy. 18 officers next Friday will be joining the MARTA police force. So all of those layers will reduce the response time. It's not just a single item to achieve that goal. Thank you, David.
All right, thank you.
All right, I'm going to go to Ms. Jones. And
This might be for Nevin or for Ms. Allen. Can you restate what the timeline is for the fare boxes, the installation, and when
Fare
that will come
boxes,
online?
specifically fare boxes is,
Or fare gates.
okay. We'll, by the end of this month, I think we're gonna have about, I think it's 80% of all of the stations, 80, completed. All of the TVMs will be installed this summer. We're gonna work up until about June 10th in making sure that we get as much as we can done, continuing with this construction project, and hopefully there are no unforeseen occurrences, or but with any construction project there's going to be something that pops up that surprises you, but we're doing everything that we can, meeting every day, several times a day, to talk about anything that might be standing in our way. And then specifically on the fare boxes, the parts that take the cash on the vehicles, we'll be installing and replacing those over the summertime overnight, so that doesn't really impact anything that's happening during the day where most of the activities occurring. But all of our high volume stations will be finished and have all the gates and TVMs and all ready at those locations. So, thank you.
And so the other 20% then?
We have this construction freeze, so we really are just kind of evaluating what the crowd size, the impact is. So we could continue working through World Cup. It just kind of depends on where it is. So let's take Medical Center as an example. If there's not lots of work and crowds there, we still may be able to do some work and continue there. But if the crowds are larger than we expect, then we will continue and hold with our construction freeze and begin back on that work in July. And I believe there's probably about 4 weeks left of work to do after that.
Okay, thank you. I've been receiving a lot of questions about the fare gates and being able to pay. People are really
people will be
anxious
able to pay.
have their
They'll be able to pay.
To be able to tap, and so I estimated August, but I just wanted to make sure I was providing fair information.
And
Thank you so much.
Ms. Allen, tell me if I'm right about this, because I had not understood this. If somebody walks in where it is open and they don't tap, we can still, when they tap out, we can collect the
Collect the
fare
fee.
on tap out, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they don't
That
have
is
to
true.
tap both
That is true.
times for it to register. Okay. So hopefully, it is a very small number of rides that would have an open gate and we're not collecting a
That is-
tap on either end.
That's correct.
Okay. We are at like 1 minute till board meeting start time. Did we have any items for executive session?
No.
Amazing. I have one super quick question for Mr. Hunt. Back to the very, very beginning of your report on fare cards. And for those of us who were here last week for something you saw, you know, the team did a great job of making sure people could come inside from the heat. There were chairs, there were people could use the facilities, they could use all of that. But as Mr. Hunt said, you know, we didn't meet expectations on the wait time for folks. I think, you know, as you said, there were a variety of reasons why so many folks came into headquarters to get their cards. I think one was that our address, our knowledge of your address is only as good as you update us on your address. And do we have a system in place, like, you know, every time I go to the doctor where I confirm if, oh, my address has not changed? And how do we capture people? Because I know, you know, if I move apartments or something, the last thing on my mind at the time is I got to let MARTA know that I've moved, because 3 years from now they may need to mail me a new card. So I don't push that onto our patrons, but I do think people need a prompt to be reminded that, you know, if you move, you know, and you're changing, you know, your magazine subscriptions and everything else, that you do need to change your address with MARTA.
So with the transition to A Better Breeze, we are capturing that information. So when we mail them out, there's no issue. The address is good. If there is an issue, or when you come in, we do ask for your address. Please confirm that. And then we do have a push. There is a portion of our reduced fare community that is, there's a little bit of a technological gap. And so we are working through that. There is a large segment that just prefers that physical, fill out your address, hand it to us, and we log it in.
All right, if there's nothing else, I'm going to adjourn the work session and give people like 2 minutes if you need to take a very quick break, and we will be right back. started in about 15 seconds. If people can grab your seat, that would be great. We need Sagira or... All right, we're waiting for one more board member for us to have quorum. All right, apologies, we're running a few minutes late today. We had a very long but wonderful update on readiness for World Cup. I'm going to go ahead and call to order the May 14th, 2026 Board of Directors meeting. It is 1:42 p.m. Mr. Pritchett, did we receive any public comments to report via email or voicemail?
Nothing via email. We do have 9 in-person public comment.
Okay. Thank you. So we will move to the in-person part of public comment. Each public speaker is allowed 2 minutes and cannot donate time to other speakers. The total time for public comments will not exceed 45 minutes. If this limit is reached before all comments are heard, the public comment period will be paused and the board meeting will continue. Public comments will then resume at the end of the board meeting. I'm going to call everybody up one at a time. You'll see on the screen there's a timer, so I ask you if you can please try to stick to your allotted 2 minutes since we are running a little behind to begin with, and we have a number of public speakers, and I want to make sure we're able to hear from everybody. So our first speaker today is Marvin Smith.
I take the number 46 from Claremont Road and the access road. This bus has to go through terrible turns to get where it's going on in the underpass and everything in the face of a lot of traffic. The bus is not designed for the type of turning they're having to do. You need smaller buses going through that particular route. Also, when they're turning the wheels as hard as they're turning them to get this bus to turn where they want it to, they're that this far from the oncoming traffic. So it's a little frightening looking when you're sitting up front seeing this like that, you know, so it's a little bit different. But we need to see if we can get smaller buses, and if you don't fix this problem, you're going to end up with drivers with rotator cuff tears all over the place from turning all day long. All right, now, also, this bus never comes on time. We're 40 minutes late every day. It does not make any difference who the driver is. So there's something with this situation, and I think I know what it is. The 48 turns into the 23 at Brookhaven. Stop that. It's confusing to everybody. It's very inconvenient. You got a 23 bus that's going to take an hour to 2 hours to get up to the Arts Center and come back. And I see the bus coming in says 46. I get up to go. If I don't ask before I get in, I'll be on the 23 going downtown, which is not where I intended to go. So we need to fix that or find another way of doing it. And this may be part of the problem with the 40 minutes late, is that they're having to switch over to another bus number and start over again. And for some reason, I'll give you an example. I had a bus supposed to come at 8:34. I was out there at 8:20. The bus came at 9:40. And so I barely made it to Brookhaven in time to get a train to get here because of being late. So, you've got this going through a lot of areas, which is good. The problem is, if you can't show up on time, nobody's going to bother with you. And so we've got to, you need to fix these kind of problems. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Your time is.
Fix your GPS. I'd like to know if my driver had a heart attack, somebody knew where he was.
All right. Thank you. Next speaker is Joy McKenzie.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Joy McKenzie, and I am here today. On the 9th of last month, I called to book a reservation for my grandson, and I was told that the bus will not come in and get us, myself and my grandson, anymore. I'm living in that house that I purchased in 2020 over 6 years, and the bus was coming in there. I called Miss Davis. She didn't answer. I leave a message for her. I called, I think it's Shelton, Delton, whatever that man's name is. I left a message for him. Eventually, he did call me back, and I told him what was the problem. So I went ahead to say to him, I said, I had this problem with y'all before, and I had to call my congressman, to fix this problem. The minute I say that, he just went plumb crazy on me. He was very disrespectful. He spoke to me very reckless. I didn't say anything. I stayed quiet. Then he said that it's either I have to walk out from where I am living a mile and a half, or I get someone to take me out there. I explained to him, I said, I have no one, and I cannot walk. Last year, February, I was here concerning some foolishness with MARTA did not pick me up. And it's like it's from one thing to the next. I told him, I said, you saw my condition when I came here last year, February. I said, and you are asking me now for me to walk out a mile and a half in my condition to wait for a MARTA bus where it's never on time? I said, I have no one to take me out there. I said, and I am not going to walk. Since I tell him that was my congressman, he just went crazy. So I told him, I said, then you are forcing me to sell my house. He said, it's up to me. That's why I am here. Board members, I am pleading with y'all. I am pleading with y'all. Please, don't let that bus stop, because I have no other way to go and take care of my business. I am begging y'all. I am begging y'all. I'm pleading with y'all. Please don't let that happen, because this is federal money that MARTA is getting. And if I have to do what I got to do to send an email to federal and Disability Act for MARTA mobility in my condition and along with my grandson, I am prepared to do that, because I'm not going to be mistreated by MARTA mobility anymore. It's got
Thank
to
you,
stop.
Ms. McKenzie.
It's got to stop. It got to stop. It got to stop. And I am tired. I am tired of playing with MARTA. I am tired of this. I'm tired. I'm tired. I am tired. I am tired. Sorry. I'm sorry. But this got to stop. It's got to stop. That MARTA is mistreating and abusing the seniors and people with disability. It has to stop. It has to stop. And y'all have the power to do that. Y'all have the power and the authority to do that. Please, please, please. I have a heart problem. I'm dealing with MARTA mobility. It's very stressful. It's stressful on my heart. It's stressful. Please. He gave me 1 year. 1 year from the 18th of last month to next year, 18th of January, February, April, for the bus to come in and get me. After that, what happened? What happened? What happened? It has to stop. It has to stop. Enough is enough with MARTA. Enough is enough with MARTA mobility. Enough is enough.
All right, our next speaker is Leslie Satchel.
Okay, well, I'm staying in Lithonia, and since they took out the 86, now they bringing the 114 out my direction, and that route is long to get from my area to Decatur Station. I work for Pullets by Averdale train station, Sound Crossing Pullets. That 114 takes an hour to get from my area to Decatur Station. I gotta take the train, go eastbound back to Averdale. That route is long because you gotta go through all that congestion going down Snapfinger, down Columbia Drive. It's congested with traffic. And then the times that I get off of work, when I get off of work working morning shift, I gotta go back to the Decatur Station, and then rush hour pick up between 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. If the bus ain't on time getting back to the Decatur Station, everybody be piled up. We be piled up on one bus. It be crammed up. It be crowded. When the bus get crowded, then everybody want to act the fool. They want to fight and stuff. We almost had a fight on the bus Monday. So they should have kept the 86 because getting to Kingston Station is much quicker than taking a 114 from my area all the way to Decatur Station. Now, since they closed down all the bus stops on my street, I stay on Middle Road. I got to walk a distance from my house all the way up to Park and Ride to get the 114. It's not only affecting me. I got neighbors that stay on my street that need to catch the bus, and they got to do the same thing, walk from their house to Park and Ride. I just wish they would have kept the 86 because it's 114 long, and by me waiting on the 114, it don't be on time. So I got to leave extra early to be on time if I got to go way to Decatur Station and get the train to go out of my way. That doesn't make any sense.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Satchel. Our next speaker is Jeff Boyd. Oh, you're not going to speak. Okay, all right. Next, Dominique Huff.
Good afternoon. I'm kind of glad that situation just happened with that elderly woman, and I take my heart out to her. Because I'm glad you all saw that, because I saw that in person at College Park Station when you all canceled the 89 and the 196. People were stuck trying to figure out if they're going to go home, how they was going to get to work, pick up their children. Nobody said nothing. The 89 splits between Riverdale on one trip, Union City on the other trip. And then this other gentleman that's mentioned about his bus service, the 80, which is my new route, canceled 6 times yesterday. 3 trips from Fulton Industrial, 3 trips from East Point. But I mainly came to talk about was our night rail service. We are rolling out the red carpet like we always do for the gentrifiers, like we always do for when we have company. But at 9 o'clock at night and all day on the weekends, we got to wait 20 minutes per train. Trains from Doraville to Airport, North Springs from Lindbergh. We have a rail study. I sent you all a handout. 6 to 12 months. Give us a pilot study. So that these people that are working second and third shift can have a better train experience at night and on the weekends. I've been out there to where we pulled up to the station and the train's just leaving off. We got to wait 20 minutes, and then you get to 5 points. Got to wait another 20 minutes because we're missing the trains. There's no connectivity. So if we're saying we want to let MARTA do the driving, then MARTA needs to start doing some driving. MARTA needs to sit there and take care of the locals, us in Fulton, Clayton, and DeKalb, who have taxed ourselves for this service, and make sure the people who need the service are taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huff. Our next speaker is Elijah Jackson.
Thank you, Board. And originally I came up here to speak about some different concerns, and I hope that later on after this meeting I can speak. But I have a very, very serious concern on my entrance into the building. I am an unarmed young black male, and your guys' staff, protective specialists, and police officers not only intimidated me, but threatened me before my entrance into this building. I don't know if you guys know, but policy is all feelings, but the law is truth. This is the Open Meeting Act of the state of Georgia, which I've studied very, very well. I'm a very educated young black man, and they tried to force me to identify myself before coming into a public board meeting. I was not doing customer service business. I was not doing any. I'm coming to a public board meeting, which I can remain anonymous at, and I do not have to be forced and surrounded by police officers, which I do have a video of. You guys not only intimidated me and threatened me and made me feel very, very uncomfortable when I barely didn't even come into this room and speak, but I said if it's on the backs of my ancestors, of people who look like me, who couldn't even come in rooms like this before, I'm going to come in here and stand tall and say what I have to say. And what I have to say is that is unacceptable for you all to try to threaten and intimidate a young black man with people with firearms. And I don't have any. I am an unarmed black man. So you need to either retrain your staff, Dwayne, because you will be receiving a demand letter by, 5 o'clock before you close. That's why I wanted to speak to you before I left. Because you all not only violated my rights, you made me feel emotionally discomfortable, and I didn't even come here to speak about myself. I admit that I am privileged. I came here to speak about the true issues that's going on, like the stop at a mall in Pryor Road that's been down for at least 2 to 3 months. A simple bus stop being down, you know, some drivers know to stop there, but some who are new on the route do not. And I'm a person who uses that route, and there are other people who do use that route, and people who cannot come here at 1:30 in the afternoon when they're working. When they're working at 1:30, 12 o'clock, they're working, and you guys are meeting. They're working and you're meeting. So do you guys really want to have public comment? Probably really not. But that's one issue, the stop at 42 in the mall on Pryor Road. I would also like to bring up issue with your new Reach app. With the new Reach app is that you can get somewhere, like for example, to a train station, but they will take you to the nearest bus stop that's near that train station. But sometimes the bus is already passed. So if I'm already on the Reach, why would you make them have to drop me off at the bus stop when they can just take me straight to the station if that's where they're going to? That's kind of like redundant of them, and I'm having to wait another 20, 15 minutes on another bus. And I also would like to thank the bus drivers of the 42 and the 96 who have done a great job, not only just being bus drivers, but me being new in this city. They have been aunts to me, uncles to me, giving me different advice on what to do. I'm a recent college graduate, and these bus drivers do more than just operate the buses. They are caring individuals who deserve the full respect. And so I see our drivers here, and I don't know their cause, but I want to tell you, whatever their cause is, they got the fire of a young person behind them, and whatever it takes, I'm standing behind them 10 toes. And I would like to speak to someone about some more concerns, because it seems like you got to jump through a loop and hoop to even speak to somebody other than customer service here. I want to speak to not saying customer service aren't professional, but I'd like to speak to a person in the area of which I would like to speak at. So if there's another way I could speak to someone, I would like to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Our next speaker is Micah Evans.
Good afternoon, distinguished board members and to our community guests. The name is Miko, by the way. I would like to actually kind of bring some things to y'all's attention. To give you some context, I'm born and raised in the ATL, 1971, so grew up on MARTA. And so I've seen MARTA's progress over the years. One of the things that I want to remind you all, I'm loving some of the additions that you all are bringing to prepare for the World Cup, but it's also reminding me of what happened during the time of the Olympics. And I don't want to see what happened during the time of the Olympics to happen during the World Cup. I want to make sure that our local residents, those who are born and raised here, those who are new residents here, that they get a chance to benefit from a lot of the new additions that's happening after the World Cup. A lot of the buses that you all have counseled, I think you all need to go back and revisit some of those routes because it's causing more problems than before. And it's also not just a strain on the customers, but it's also, you can tell it's also a strain on the employees. Many of these drivers are not even aware that another employees, some employees are not showing up for work, so they're the only ones that's on the route, which is extra strain on them. They're having to deal with customer complaints of people who are being late for work. You all have to find additional ways to have some type of emergency bus service or some type of emergency program to where if buses are being canceled, then you all need to find ways to either reimburse for that day of the buses being canceled, or either find ways to give them free Uber and Lyft rides for people who need to get back and forth to work, because a lot of people are getting in trouble on their jobs because of MARTA. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people being written up, a lot of folks are actually getting fired, and that could be a possible class action lawsuit. So these are things that I think you all need to take into consideration. And another thing, don't want to miss my time here, but MARTA used to have customer appreciation days back a long time ago, what they call free ride days. Every major holiday, MARTA used to give something back to the people. We used to be able to ride both the bus and the train New Year's Day, MLK holiday, Memorial Day, Independence Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Every now and then you are doing Thanksgiving and Christmas. Y'all may give us Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday, or you may give us Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or you may give us New Year's Eve and New Year's Day because everybody was going to New Year's services, watch night services, or the peace drop. But y'all encourage people to ride MARTA back a long time ago. That's why the parking rides at the train station was very filled. And so I don't see a lot of that like I used to. You know, a lot of people feel that MARTA is not really concerned about their customers anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I think we need to get back to what made MARTA great doing back over the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Our next speaker is Maisha Abdullah.
Good day, everyone. First, I'd like to say I would appreciate if everyone here on the board took a weekday and a weekend day, and took MARTA, bus and train. Pick a route, not as something simple, but something that you don't drive every day to know exactly where you're going. And you experience what it's like to be on the train and on the bus and take that route and figure your way out and understand how the routes are and when they're going to be canceled, if a bus is late, and have a destination. Make sure you need to be somewhere at a certain time when you pick this little assignment that you do. Each and every one of you needs to do that so you see what it's like for us, because it's easy to make decisions for people when you don't have to sit in the shoes of those people that have to experience it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the 102 is the bus that's been removed, and that bus goes down to a shopping center that's in Caroline Ave. In place of that, there's the number 2 that goes that route, but what's been done is it goes to Inman Park, Reynoldstown, comes out to the main street, which is DeKalb Ave, goes all the way down, and that's a street that nobody catches the bus. So it goes away from the shopping center where everybody goes to shop. There's Target, Walmart, Kroger, Ross. There's like 6 or 7 different stores there. There's a senior center there which had a bus stop right in front of it at the corner. The bus stop is gone, so all the seniors in that section have no way to get on the bus or get anywhere. They have to carry bags. They have to walk all the way to the Reynoldstown station to catch the train, and there's also no way to go north now. So if you need to go north, that means you need to walk all the way down to Little 5 Points to wait on the number 2 just to go north, because the only stations are east and west now. So you've removed the whole way to get to another side of town. So that number 2 loops around on the DeKalb Ave where there's nobody catching the bus to come down to the the train station, which is Edgewood Ave, and then comes back up on the highway and then loops down to Little Five Points. So all the people in that whole area, that whole district, have no way to get around now, which is a huge shopping area, especially if you have people coming in from out of town. Those are places that they're going to go. The next thing is how people talked about when we have the Olympics and so forth and other things coming in. We cater to those people that never ride MARTA. And then the people that ride the trains and the buses get pushed to the side. We change the routes and everything. We have customer service people on the platforms to let people know where to go. But the people that are there that go to and from work and school and so forth, they're just kind of corralled to the side and like get out of the way because you're not going to a concert or something like that. You're getting off work late at night. Nobody knows where they're going. You're just kind of corralled in with people that are just there for an event. But the people that really use the transportation, there's no consideration. But that's my time, so that's it. Make it a thing this weekend. Take the bus and the train. See how it is.
Thank you, Ms. Abdullah. Our next speaker is, I believe it's Glenn Hale.
Glenn Hall.
Glenn Hall. All right. Apologies.
Good afternoon to everybody. I've been a MARTA employee for 20 years. I've been in transportation for 30 years. We have gone 8 years or more at one time without a raise. We are one of the major cities in this country. We are one of the worst paid in this country, if not the worst. There seems to be no concern about your employees, the fairness, or anything else. As you can see, people are having major difficulties with the route changes. They weren't informed properly. This is something that has to be cleared up quickly. The fact that we are extremely underpaid. We have no time to do these routes. We have been very defensive about this for a long time. We've been on the defensive about these things for a long time. This is not something we're going to be defensive about much longer. We are extremely frustrated because we are $8 to $10. Your operators are $8 to $10 under the national average for major cities in this country. There's something wrong with that. There's something seriously wrong with that, and we don't see the concern that from you guys about this. We see delays, we see procrastination, we see a whole lot, but we're not seeing anyone addressing any of these situations in a proper manner. We would like to see that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hall. Our next speaker is Jean Richards.
Good evening, Chairman, Board. Mine is very simple. First, have two quick ones. At nighttime, about 11:30, or the latest I have seen, against about 9:45, there is, I don't know if this, I might be misinformed, but have it's a train that go east and west. No lights on, just a blue train. I don't know if that's safety or what, but it's kind of mysterious. A dark train, it just runs back, and you might just see it every so often. I don't know what it was, but it's not that we was informed about the safety about that particular train. I don't know if it's something for the World Cup that's coming up or whatever. Secondly, right quick, is that I will check downstairs, but I came here personally, physically, to check on my car, and I checked before I came and whatever, and it's not here yet. Well, I will check downstairs. But the main thing I wanted to get on is that why haven't MARTA, it's not having MARTA, but the trolley, why do everybody else get new system. You got East and West, you got the medical center, you got everything else. Why haven't MARTA upgraded the trolley system where you can use your card for transfer? The ambassador said, hey, we thought y'all was getting transferred. Y'all was using that card as the transfer. Then I thought that they also had said that the people in MARTA, you go to them, you go to ask the supervisors that's down there. Everybody got MARTA clothes on, MARTA supervisors, but then they do not have. You got about 1965 type things. You push it in. None of the machines are operating like you really just don't care. You're fixing all the new ones up. But when they said, well, you know, we can't do that for you because we can't transfer it because we don't have the system. And they afraid to speak up on it. And the train used to be, it's not that we have a supplement now, because a long time ago we had Auburn Avenues. It's going to the King Center, which 1/3 or a lot of 1/4 of our people that goes to there. And then you got Edgewood. None of those buses running anymore. And the buses that you get you going from here to try to get on the trolley. But it's not trolley. When you think about it, it used to be you could use the number 3. The number 3 goes to the King Center station, which is about equivalent to for those in here that might not ride the bus like the young lady said, is that it's from it's probably about from City Hall to the other side of the State Building, and then you got to carry your parcels for senior citizens. The main reason I'm here, senior citizens and everything else, and they cut the bus off, but they tell you, well, you can use the number 3 or the trolley. That's supplemented. But when you supplement something, that means when you get off that bus or train, then they're gonna always approach you for a fee. This is the only thing I know that MARTA has for you. But then you gotta pay a fee. I said, I want to be in front of the chairman to ask him. And this is not, I don't know that we have to pay for that supplementary thing, because when people leave, we are the people that's here. You see, we the one are paying for this, this system and out of our thing. And most things, if you'll find out that a lot of those buses that cut, they don't even make a stop. They don't even have nobody on there. We're wasting taxpayers' money. And what I'm saying to you just right here is that why haven't they upgraded their system? I don't know why we have to pay for that, because they just corrupt our community, tore up the streets, tore out everything. And I think it was called Peach Trolley. It was called Peach Trolley. And then I can understand that. I guess they didn't get their money they needed for us. Why are they hitting us for fees? We cannot get on there, because you come on there the wrong way, and they might have guards on there sometime. They used to.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Richards.
Thank you. I hope you can look into that.
Okay. Next, we have Natasha Taylor.
Good afternoon to one and all, the MARTA board, my colleagues, my president, David Ward, ATU Local 732, we move this city. Thank you. I truly appreciate our members. Y'all do an amazing job with whatever tool y'all are given. At this particular time, I want to come here and express our concerns about this next gen. These routes are messed all the way up, and of course, the riding public knows it. We know it. We took about 15 operators, professional operators out here on these runs. We did it without the functionalities that our day-to-day operators have to do on a day-to-day when they are operating these buses, which is picking up patrons, collecting fare, loading and unloading wheelchairs. We did this. When we were in the process of doing these services, running every one of these routes, we didn't have enough time, according to the running board, the blocks. So we submitted all this data. We were willing to work with the company, and we still are willing to work with the company, but it has to be feasible for every party. It's not feasible for the patrons that ride MARTA, nor is it feasible for our bus operators. They are suffering. They're not getting the break time. If you have all these routes and you break them down and you add extra blocks to the route, why don't you have break time on these routes? You added more buses. It was not created nor structured right, and we've been pleading with y'all to do something to help us out so we can help y'all out. But nothing is happening. We're underpaid and overworked, and we don't like that. We need something to be done. We need something to be done today. Honestly. We're willing to work with y'all, but it has to be teamwork, because that's the only thing that makes this dream work. I want to thank y'all.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. And our final speaker today is Ivan Coulter.
Good afternoon. All right, just real quick, I'm gonna run down these bullet points. Communication. You know, this is not my first time up here speaking, and I have not gotten any follow-ups from any of the comments I made the last time or any of the emails I've sent out. And a lot of the connectivity, the routes that were taken out from Fulton County to DeKalb, the 8, the 36, that's just not going to work, because a lot of people that go from Atlanta to Decatur, they need those routes. The 836, those were the key routes that we needed for people to go back and forth. I use those routes to get to where I need to get to. We need to find another way to bring that back. You know, I know it's a long route. 8 is a pretty long route. You know, it goes from Oglethorpe train station all the way down to Kensington. I know that's a long route, but some way to bring some of that connectivity back. The other one is reduced fare products. We need to have reduced fare products for the weekly, the monthly fare. They've never implemented that. I'm on reduced fare, so I have a fixed income. Whatever the price is for the monthly and the weekly, they need to come up with a reduced fare price for that. We need that. I'm on the fixed income. It's better if I just get a monthly and a weekly, pay for it one time when I get my check at the beginning of the month. That works out feasible for me. You know, instead of continuously having to pay $1 every single time I get on the train or get on the bus. The other issue is the follow-up with emails with Mr. Zachary Kurtz. Sent him several emails about the stops on Roxborough Road and I don't know how you say that, Waquia. It's on Peachtree. They were supposed to add a stop from the shopping center where the Target and the Dick's is, and that last stop right after the gas station there. They need another stop put there because there's a lot of walking distance between either stop. There's no stop there. They need to add a stop there. And the last thing is the single tracking at Lindbergh train station. There was one incident on the weekends where we were stuck at Lindbergh train station for at least 30 to 45 minutes, where none of the train operators, even the security, we're just standing there waiting for the train to come, and it's we're single tracking, but there's no train. So we're getting on and off a train, going in the wrong direction, and no one seems to know what the solution is for the single tracking. We're just stuck there at Lindbergh train station waiting for a train that isn't going to come. And it's kind of ridiculous. I don't know what the solution for the single tracking is, but we need a solution for the single tracking, and that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Coulter. And is that what is it? Wyuka and Peachtree? Is that the intersection you're talking about? Okay.
Roxborough and Wyuka.
Wyuka. Okay.
Right there, you know, there's
I know what you're talking about. That shopping center development, kind of a little bit north from Phipps Plaza, up that way.
Yeah,
okay.
right there.
Thank you. All right, we'll take in notes on that.
Okay.
Appreciate you coming today, and thank you to everybody who came and shared your concerns. And Mr. Hunt is here taking 2 pages full of notes. You know, this is one of those days that we needed to hear from people where the system isn't working as it should all the time. So we really do appreciate you taking time out of your day to be down here and to let us know where we could do better. All right, moving on, in our meeting, we need to approve our minutes from our April 9th, 2026 board meeting. May I have a motion and a second, please? And if there are no corrections or discussion, everybody please vote. All right, the minutes have been approved. We have 2 board committee reports today. We're going to start with business management with Ms. Williamson.
Madam Chair, the Business Management Committee convened on Thursday, April 23rd, 2026, and approved the following resolutions. A, resolution authorizing the execution of a 5-year revenue-generating license agreement with the Atlanta Hawks in the amount of $298,384.08 for the continued use of the electronic billboard, power, and data line on parcel D2108Y located at 90 Centennial Olympic Park Drive, FKA 0 Techwood Drive, Atlanta, Georgia. B, resolution authorizing the award of a contract utilizing the State of Georgia contracts for the purchase of wireless communications devices and services, RFPP P600290. C, resolution authorizing the issuance, sale, execution, and delivery of the Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority sales tax revenue bonds, variable rate refunding series 2026B, green bonds, in the aggregate principal amount of $118,145,000. D, resolution approving the operating and capital budgets of fiscal year 2027. I request approval of these resolutions.
All right, thank you. And if we can get a second, and everybody please vote. All right, those 4 items have been approved.
Madam Chair, this concludes my report.
Thank you. And then our second committee report is Operations and Safety with Mr. Logue.
Madam Chair, the Operations and Safety Committee convened on Thursday, April 23rd, 2026, and approved the following resolution. A, resolution authorizing a modification and contractual authorization for transit operator training courses, RFP P45519. I request approval of this resolution.
All right, if we can get a second, and then everybody please vote. All right, that item has been approved.
The committee also received the following briefings: B, rail and streetcar key performance indicators quarterly briefing, and C, next gen launch update. Madam Chair, this concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Logue. All right, now we have 2 items that did not come through committee, so let's first hear from, we're going to do the fare card distribution one first. Mr. Grinnell.
Good afternoon, Board. Chair Ide, Interim CEO Jonathan Hunt. I'm going to present the resolution authorizing the modification and contractual authorization for fare card distribution and customer support services, LOA L500845. Again, my name is Nevin Grinnell. I'm the Assistant General Manager for Customer Experience. I'm going to provide a little background, some Breeze specific support, then talk about the contract modification, and then the board resolution request. Just to give you a little background, again, Mr. Hunt talked to this earlier today about all the activities that we have been having between, say, March and currently with the 6 events and activities. And also the fact that customer service has been playing a key role with that. And I would say that customer service is really on the front line with our customers. Matter of fact, before a lot of people get on the bus, they may reach out to customer service to understand destinations, describe certain situations. And so, again, with that particular group, they have to address many calls, whether navigating people throughout our system or addressing any other concerns that they have. However, I will say that this group probably feels like they got into the perfect storm here. And as you can see with the activities that we have, with the Better Breeze migration to the new system, with Next Gen Bus, with the Bus Rapid Transit, with MARTA Reach, and I will say with MARTA Reach is a new service in our system. So it does involve a lot of education, a lot of awareness, a lot of hand-holding. And then also, as many storms kind of go away, we can see the clouds coming again with FIFA and World Cup, with making sure that we're addressing a lot of the customers' concerns. So we went into this anticipating that there would be increased activity and engagement with our customer service group through calls and wanting to know and wanting to be aware of all the changes that we have going on. But I will say specifically with our reduced fare and mobility community, we saw an even more significant or higher level of engagement that needed to take place. Most of our customers, I will say, transitioned pretty smoothly, again, as they moved on to the new services. But our certain groups with our reduced fare and mobility, and then those that were maybe a little bit less technologically inclined, needed a little more high touch during this particular process. At the bottom, again, as we anticipated that we would need to provide incremental care to these groups, we actually went out and conducted calls between January and March to verify some of the addresses. And again, that was took a little bit longer than we had anticipated because of the account base and because of folks moving and the accuracy behind that. But we did attempt to reach out to roughly about 17,000 individuals via calls, asking them to call back, but also making sure that they were aware of this particular change to the New Breeze system. From there, we went into printing and mailing. So we actually printed out cards for, again, the reduced fare and mobility community, since we did have that database as much as possible. So we printed and mailed out their cards. And then once we got to the transition period, we stopped mailing cards because we wanted to make sure that we could service and get the existing cards in their hands. So we opened our offices to provide, again, the human touch with our customers to, again, transfer into the new reduced fare cards. And then at that time, since we saw the increase in activity in our lobby or in our atrium, we also redeployed ambassadors. So we actually had ambassadors out at all of our stations to talk to and engage with our customers about Breeze, Next Gen, and all of those services. But we felt it was more important to make sure that we brought people in-house to make sure that we had the coverage that we needed to help our reduced fare and mobility customers move forward. And as we're seeing this activity, we're also anticipating fare transfer. So fare transfer, we've provided a fare transfer mechanism where people can simply go online, but we also know, again, with our experience with this community, that it's not always just that simple. Some folks don't have email or access or the technological education, so we're making sure that we're providing those resources or that backstop to actually conduct that fare transfer for them. So that was the process that we took to move through this. Again, we had higher anticipated activity to transfer the balance, but then also behind the scenes, we also had higher than anticipated activity actually through the call center, so folks calling in as well. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. We brought in contracted support to help offset this activity, and it was really in two different actions. The first one, as I talked to, was the mailing and distribution services. So these folks helped identify and develop and printed actual cards, but also assembled the mail, kitted those together, and ensured that the addresses were aligned with the cards that we were sending out. And then the team also activated at the atrium to make sure that we're helping our customers in person. The other group, through the contracted support, provided on the phone general project information to persons calling in. And again, all of this was in addition to our core customer service. So we felt that this was going to be for a finite time. We could make sure that we're providing this extra touch for our customers to move forward. And again, this group on the right side provided or addressed the 6 major initiatives, responded to any other requests, and then also if any issue needed to be escalated, then they would refer those calls to our core staff. So the situation, as I mentioned, higher than anticipated demand for reduced fare processing, replacement cards, and also what we saw was return mail handling. And as you can see in the lower right-hand corner, I put some of the stats together. Our calls to the call center actually doubled during this time. But what we saw and what we were able to help in our atrium or here at headquarters so far was probably by today about 4,000 visitors since 4/29. But ahead of that, we had mailed out 38,000 cards, and we saw a little bit close to about 12% of those cards returned because of inaccurate address, people moving, just some of the various things, again, making sure that our database is current and up to date. So our call centers doubled. We had an increase in customers requiring live or hands-on assistance. And then also we saw a lot of folks come in that realized that we were making this change. Maybe their card had expired. Maybe they weren't in our database, or they realized that they needed a new card. And so we had an influx of persons looking for that type of service. And that's also in addition to lost and found and any other reasons that folks normally would come into the MARTA store as well. So we had to, on the fly or in real time, make some of the modifications as we saw the situation changing. Again, we redeployed our transit ambassadors from the field or from the stations into the headquarters office to provide additional resources and manpower. We started our data collection earlier, so even before many of those folks came inside to our lobby, we're collecting information, trying to make sure that we could get ahead of that. And then also we wanted to make sure that it wasn't just one line that everybody had to get in. So we needed to make sure and understand what customers were looking for. So we could segregate if they were going for lost and found. We had a person that could provide that attention, and they could move through a lot more efficiently by segregating those particular lines, or more importantly, the needs of our customers. And then also our equipment. We started out with 3 printers. So the process with printing, if we did not find their card within the cards that we had, or we look through the cards that were mailed back to us, then we would actually print them a new card. And so as Mr. Hunt said, we did not let any customers leave without getting a card unless they provided that information and they wanted it to be mailed to them a little bit later. But we made sure that we took care of all of our customers. Stayed open later, also worked through Saturday, the first Saturday, to provide that additional touch. So this procurement is being funded with 100% local operating funds for FY26. The current value, the current contract value was $193,446.88. We're looking for additional funds requested of $534,121. I will say the incremental ask is for extended time as we move into World Cup, as we're learning these things. Also to add incremental resources for the balance transfer, having gone through what we know we're going to need to provide for our customers as we walk through the reduced fare card upgrade. And so the total contract amount is $763,946.27. So with that, the Office of Customer Experience and Strategy requests approval by the MARTA board to amend the current contract to add additional funds to the LOA L50845 in the amount of $763,946.27. With that, I will answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Mr. Pritchett, do you have, is there is there a resolution that needs to be
Yeah,
read in?
the resolution needs to be read in so that a motion and a
Yeah.
second and whatnot can happen. We can have discussion.
And we have a copy in our packet.
I don't have a copy of the resolution.
Ms. Huff was telling me. Okay. Hold on one second. All right.
Yep. He's got it.
Okay. Yeah, if you would read it in, that would be great.
Okay. All right, whereas on April 13, 2026, the interim general manager CEO entered into a contract with Insight Global LLC for fare card distribution and customer support services, letter of agreement L50845. And whereas MARTA staff has determined it is in the best interest of the authority to increase the contract value to provide for known changes and additions to the contract. And whereas all contractual changes and additions for this modification will follow the authority's procurement policies and guidelines, and whereas an audit is not required as the unit prices / hourly rates remain unchanged, and resolved therefore by the Board of Directors of the Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority that the interim general manager, CEO, or his delegate be and hereby is authorized to increase the authorization for contract number L50845 fare card distribution and customer services support from $193,446.88 to $763,946.27.
Thank you, and we have had a motion by Ms. Powers and a second by Dr. Bolton Harris, so it is before us. Does anybody have any questions or discussion? Mr. Pond.
I think this is a smart thing, and it's well deserved to spend the money. I just have a quick question. We received some federal monies, I think, to support the World Cup, and also I think maybe you've made some kind of projections, and maybe not for the additional Fairgate revenue, but I would just be curious what those two numbers are more or less, if that's a number we can throw out.
So we received a couple of awards from the federal government. The first is $3.4 million from the Department of Homeland Security for overtime for police forces, and then the region under MARTA's leadership received $9.4 million to cover World Cup expenses. Our expenditures for World Cup will exceed the amount we ultimately get allocated to us, but this would be in that grouping.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? If not, everybody please vote. All right, and this item passes. Thank you so much, Mr. Grinnell. And then we have another resolution coming directly to us from Mr. Pritchett.
All right, this is a resolution granting a waiver from the MARTA Code of Ethics to Kimley Horn and Associates to continue contracting with MARTA while Jennifer LaRosa is employed by Kimley Horn prior to 6 months from the conclusion of her voluntary resignation of employment with MARTA. And it reads, whereas Jennifer LaRosa, I'm going to modify this one on the fly here. Whereas Jennifer LaRosa held the position of Senior Director of Government and Community Affairs with MARTA and tendered her voluntary resignation effective April 3, 2026. Whereas Section 13 of the MARTA Code of Ethics, as amended on October 10, 2024, is interpreted to prohibit MARTA from contracting with existing and future contracts with a vendor that employs a former MARTA employee within 6 months from the termination of employment date. And whereas Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc. currently has a contract to provide design services for MARTA's Summerhill Bus Rapid Transit Project, and may seek future contracts with MARTA during the 6-month period established in Section 13 of the Code. And whereas Section 1 of the Code designates the Board of Directors as the decision maker regarding any waiver of the Code, and the Code authorizes the Board of Directors to waive the prohibition set forth in Section 13 of the Code. And whereas the Board of Directors have reviewed this request and found that Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc. should not be prohibited from contracting with MARTA within 6 months of Ms. LaRosa leaving her employment with MARTA. And whereas the Board of Directors have reviewed this request and found that Ms. LaRosa should not be prohibited as an employee of Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc. from working on MARTA contracts within 6 months of leaving her employment with MARTA. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Directors of the Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority hereby grants a waiver of Section 13 of the MARTA Code of Ethics or any other provision of MARTA's Code of Ethics prohibiting Kimley Horn and Associates from maintaining existing contracts or entering into new contracts with MARTA, or Jennifer LaRosa from working on MARTA contracts while employed with Kimley Horn and Associates during the 6-month period following the conclusion of Jennifer LaRosa's employment with MARTA.
All right, if we can get a motion and a second to bring this before us. All right. Does anybody have any questions or comments? No? Then let's, everybody please vote. All right, and that item has passed. Thank you. Any other items to come before the board? Any questions, comments from board members? All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming today. Thank you again to the members of the public and from our workforce who came to speak today. And our meeting is adjourned.